You guys know that song? Yeah. What's it called?
Final Countdown.
That's what Jared plays on the toilet. Not a word of a lie. Have you heard this story?
No.
Do you want to hear this story? I honestly forget where we were. But we had to go to the restroom. We were in a hotel or I think it was a convention. So we found a public restroom. Walked in. We thought it was empty. He went into one stall. I went into another stall. We sat down. It was quiet. Then all of a sudden, final countdown. And I, in my stall, start to giggle. He hears me laughing and he starts to laugh. Then the stranger at the end of the bathroom flushes the toilet and quickly exits the restroom. And now that song is forever ruined. Because of Mr. Pellegrini. One of the many stories that we have that will probably end up in one of our books at some point. Yeah, I'm not writing a book. Anyway, all right, let's get to it. Over here.
Thank you. Hi. Given how the last season ended, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling anyone. What do you think about...
Don't tell me, I don't want to know.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, sorry. You're gonna get spoiled.
Do I tell her? Please, spoil away.
Given how the last Supernatural season ended, what do you think about a crossover with The Walking Dead?
Okay. Yeah, I think there's several shows that could possibly make sense for these characters arriving into town. That one being one of them. They would certainly make for some interesting meta moments, especially between Negan and the Winchester brothers. Maybe we just have the Impala drive by and have Negan holding his back going, huh. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, I'd be down to that. Yeah, you'd have to talk to the guys over at Walking Dead, but that'd be fun. And come this time next year, we'll have some time on our hands. So who knows? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
So I know that it was a pretty quick turnaround to get from CW Upfronts in New York to come join us, and I'm curious, the Jonas Brothers performed, and I wanted to know if you saw them, if you got the opportunity to see them perform, and if so, how did you like it?
Who? So not a word of a lie, and I'll probably get called out for saying this, but I'll leave the names out of it, but it's probably pretty easy to figure out who it is. After the musical group exited stage, one of our executives walked onto stage and said, "Let's hear it for the Joneses brothers." And you saw all the other executives behind stage go, "What the?" So what they do, usually the way that thing works is they have all of the cast of all the shows in a room that's a little smaller than this room here, and, you know, coffee and waters and stuff. There, we're all watching a monitor of what's happening on stage. So I guess, yeah, I did see them, but on a TV, but everybody was talking, so I didn't really watch them. It was more for the audience that was out in the theater. I think they played a couple of songs. I'm not their target demographic, so I'm sure they're not going to take offense to the fact that I wasn't paying attention. Good for them. It looks like their careers are doing really well, and it was nice to have somebody that's relevant, other than, you know, not us. We were talking about, Jared and I were talking about it. It's interesting. He may have touched on this. Has he had his panel yet? Well, then I'm going to steal this story. We were there in this room with all of the cast from all of the shows. Not all of the shows, but most of the shows for our network. And the network traditionally skews for a younger audience, and so a lot of the shows are designed to be just that. So it's a lot of young cast members. Jared said, "I remember when I was the young one." and I said, "I know." And we're literally the same age as the ones that are like playing the fathers of the lead cast members now. And we had this lovely young actress, Kennedy, who's playing Nancy Drew in the new series, come up to us, and she was like, "You guys are legends. I've grown up watching you. Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture with you for my father?" I was like, "Okay." Did your father grow up watching this too? No, but in all seriousness, the talent, they paid us really great compliments over the years, and we've got equally as great compliments from the executives of the network who tell us that we set a good example for those young actors. And to me, that's one of the best compliments I could receive. That's something that I know that Jared and I have always strived to attain is respect from the people that we worked with and our peers, to set a good tone on set. We can't control a lot, but that we can control, and so we try to do the same. We try to do the same here as well. We try to set a tone of fun, engagement, professionalism, friendliness, compassion, love, and when you check those boxes in a work setting, it's amazing the kind of work you can get done, and it's also amazing the kind of friends you can make. And so we get to be benefits of that when we're on our set, but peripherally, we get to see that being an example for these new shows and these younger actors and actresses that are coming up. And to me, that's really important. And I'm proud that we've at least achieved somewhat of that. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm very proud of you.
fact that we followed that monologue with dancing unicorn llamas. What is happening?
You know, your frustration with unicorns, that's it.
I don't have a frustration with you, except when they surround me and prep me.
Look at your feet, behind your feet. Turn around.
Yeah, it is. It's a unicorn balloon.
No, it's the stick. The stick. And you can keep.
Why would I want to kill a unicorn?
Keep him there like this. Looking at you, it's fine.
I don't want to kill a unicorn. I like unicorns.
Oh.
You know? You know how often I have to answer the question, are unicorns real? And now I get to show my daughter a video of me doing this.
Not all unicorns are born alike.
See, unicorns can't be destroyed though. No matter how hard you hit them. Still together. They're magical creatures that exist in real time and in real life. They're just, you never know if it's a horse or if the horse is hiding its horn. Because they have to be very quiet because there's a lot of people out there that want to hurt them. And what happens is you really can't hurt them.
And it's for kids.
Like the day you were born. I feel like it's staring at me.
Put some effort in it, huh?
This doesn't work.
It works.
Oh, it doesn't?
Yeah. Bring back
I feel like this is, what? Step on it?
No.
I can't even look at it when I'm like hitting it. It's like, I feel really horrible. Like, it's like I'm breaking like a beautiful piece of art.
Batting practice. I mean, you know. It's just really...
Oh, I'm gonna take this one off.
The unicorns wins.
Yeah.
This one wins. All right. What's that?
What's Stephen going to do?
Steve? Have a nap. I feel like this is designed not to have a serious conversation. I mean, it's... Anybody got any questions?
Sure. Hi. So I was wondering, what are some fun details about Dean that have never been explored on the show, but you believe to be true to his character in a way?
Some fun, what was it?
Details like little things about Dean.
About Dean? I think and this is really boils down to a cost issue. I feel like we miss hearing Dean's music as much as we used to. I would have liked to have explored a little bit more of Dean's, although we know what genre it is, just kind of hearing a little bit more of that be a soundtrack to his life and to the brothers' journey. Also, I think that we should probably have a scene or two with a cat. And see what happens. Maybe there's some stuff left over from Yellow Fever that we haven't tapped into. That could be funny. There's a lot we haven't discovered about Dean, but I think there's a lot that we have, and I'm thankful for that because I think he's a very complex character. I think he's a very real character. You know, he's not a lot of characters, at least that I see, and this might just be a product of the amount of time that we're allowed to spend with them. You know, in a movie you only get maybe 90 minutes, maybe 120 minutes. But those characters have very little time to really kind of unfold as much as Dean has gotten to unfold over the past 14 years. And I like the fact that I've had the opportunity to be able to discover this character along the way and rediscover this character and reinvent this character almost on an annual basis. And it's something that like I said earlier in this morning with Jared, is something that will forever live with me. But we got 12 more months to discover something new about him. So yeah.
I'm excited for that. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you. Hi.
I was wondering, as a fan of the show myself, are you looking forward to the next season of Peaky Blinders? And have you heard about the escape room in Birmingham? They've just designed a Peaky Blinders themed escape room, and would you like to do it?
What? Yes. I didn't know that. I'll have my people. But I'll have my people look into that. Yeah, I'm excited about that. That's it's like one of those shows that I've been with it since the beginning, and I got to see it through the end. Kind of like a show that's ending tomorrow. Which, don't get me started. I can't. Game of Thrones fans. So no, you guys don't watch it. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could hear your opinion. We're not here to have a Game of Thrones discussion, but I would like to have one. Do you want to hear my theory on what's going to happen? Just real quick. And I'm sorry, I know it was about Peaky Blinders, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the Shelbys do. I really am, because Thomas Shelby's one of my favorite characters. But I just kind of have to say this. I think Tyrion's going to kill Daenerys. Why? Because he was wrong.
Yes, he's wrong.
And he watched his friend die.
Why Tyrion?
He watched his friend die. He was wrong, and it's the ultimate redemption for his character, for all the things that he's done, is to put Snow on the throne. But whether or not Snow makes the throne, I don't know. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Game of Thrones, and we'll find out tomorrow night. Danielle, can we just sit here and have a Game of Thrones watch party tomorrow night? Sorry? Can we just sit here and have a Game of Thrones watch party tomorrow night?
Yes.
A Game of Thrones watch party tomorrow night? You don't watch it? So you're the one. Oh, and you're two, and you're three. All right, fine. All right, moving on. Enough of that. Enough people talk about that show. Hi.
So for the past 14 seasons, we've seen Dean go through every horrible thing imagined. And I thought I'd seen all of your acting range, but I've never seen anything like the way you played Dean grieving Cass and Mary in season 13. Like, it was so raw and real. And I just wanna, how do you do that? Where does it come from?
You know, it used to. Thank you. It used to come from someplace other than the show, which is a common, I think, acting thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I've never been trained properly or professionally or at all. I'm untrained. I'm wild. But for me personally, just being able to tap into certain emotions, you know, the very beginning of the show is like maybe I use something from my personal experience. Now I don't have to do that because I've lived with this character and I've lived with these relationships for so long that I can just simply think about what it would be like for this character to go through what he's going through, and that brings the emotion right there. Whenever I have an emotional scene with Jared or with Misha, when we're in those characters, we're in those moments. You know, I am Dean, and he is Sam, and he is Cass, and she is Mary, and she is Charlie, and like those relationships are real. Because they also exist off camera in a certain extent. You know, these are very dear friends of mine. And if a dear friend of yours comes to you and says they're dying, or if you lose someone like that, that brings up real emotion. And the craziest thing is when you're acting, when you're doing these scenes, you're telling your body that this is real. You're telling your body that your brain is, brain is an incredible thing, and the fact that it can tell your body to do something and to react to something that isn't real. Even though you know it's not real, you can tap into emotions that would only happen if it was real. And I don't know if that's a certain gift or a talent or just a messed up way of using your brain wrong, but it's difficult to then turn that off, for me anyways. Some people can get into it and get out of it really quickly, but for me it's like getting into it is one thing, but then that becomes real because I'm telling myself that it's real. And I've talked about this before, like the emotional stuff is very difficult, because those are some of the moments that I remember the most because they have the biggest impact on my heart. Yeah. Thank you. Hi.
So we know you're really talented. Like, there's nothing you can't do. It's true.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, question please.
So yeah.
That's it?
No.
Good, great.
I don't know what's happening.
No, I'm just getting a drink of water. That was me avoiding that compliment. That's what that was.
The music started playing. Whatever. You've been teasing us with Steve for a couple of weeks now about some songs, maybe an album, and I was just wondering if we were gonna hear something soon, maybe on Monday. It's my birthday, I deserve it.
You want to tell her?
Not that, Steve.
Oh. No, not. Yeah. I don't. What do you want to know?
Are you going to sing a new song on Monday or not?
Am I singing a new song Monday?
Yeah. During the Monday concert.
Yeah, I think we're singing a new song, but it won't be one of my songs or Steve's. One of our songs. Right? You're being very quiet today. Don't look at me like that.
Stupid song.
Our relationship is complicated. Yeah, I'll touch on that real quick. Steve Carlson, who some of you may or may not know, dear friend of mine. He and I, we've been working on a music project for about, well, I say about 8 months. He likes to say about 19 years. Yeah. And we finally started to record some music, all completely original, all written and produced by he and I. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll listen to it and be like, "This is crap. We're never releasing this," or maybe we'll say, "Let's see what they think." So
We'll let you down if you do that.
I know. Yeah, so we're working on that. That's in the works, and we're getting close to printing. So I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
I recently found an old interview of yours, and you mentioned then, I think it was in the 90s, you mentioned that your most prized possession is a pink stuffed pig. And I thought that was really adorable, and I wanted to ask, does he still exist? Why did you mention him or her?
Don't listen to her. Really? Did I say that? I mean, I know what you're talking about. I can't believe that I actually said that. That's a little embarrassing. Yeah, that was something from my childhood that was probably the only piece of my childhood that I brought to California with me. Everything else was just stuff that I needed to, survive: a bed, clothing, dishes, a toothbrush, and that's about all I had. But then I had my little pink stuffed pig, which wasn't little. The thing was like this big. It was basically just a body pillow. And yeah, I don't know why I decided to bring that, but it was the one thing that just kind of reminded me of being young and a kid. And I think one day I grew up and got rid of it. And I don't know where. I think I tossed it. It probably smelled pretty bad. Yeah. I know my 6-year-old. Well, she's about to be 6 in 2 weeks. She has this little stuffed thing that she has that she calls baby. Not kidding. And when she was young, when she was only a couple of years, there were different variations of this one little stuffy thing, and there was the puppy, and then there was the rabbit, and there was the raccoon, and the owl, and whatever. But she gravitated towards this one particular one, and so we were like, ooh, we should buy a few of those in case one goes missing. Well, she had used that one so much that the texture of the fabric became different than the other ones. So she could tell when she was 2 years old. She was like, this is not baby. And I'm like, of course it is, this is our thing! But you have to use this one in order for it to, can we just, no? It's in the wash, I'm washing. But no, that was the only one. So we've gotten rid of all those. There is one lone baby, and if we lose that, And she's 6 now. I mean, it's like, all right, we gotta like maybe get rid of this. And she's like, nope. So I have a feeling that might be going to college with her. But yeah, that's kind of the story behind the pig.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
I started watching 2.5 years ago, and I watched 9 seasons in 2 weeks, and I haven't regretted a single second. So thank you so much for so much entertainment. My question is, speaking of baby, you're gonna get baby after the show ends, so maybe you'll get like Jared on board and drive back to Texas and like film a road trip show.
Maybe.
Pretty please.
It's not a bad idea.
Have the other baby in tow.
Right, so when ours breaks down after 200 miles, we can just rotate them. We'll have like a full convoy of like mechanics. Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually. I'll think about that. Okay. Hi.
You recently opened your brewery. I wish like to know how did you get interested in making beer, and what is your favorite beer?
My brother-in-law Gino and I used to make just some backyard beer at my house in California years ago, and we really got into the craft beer industry and the whole wave of craft beers that were hitting America at that time. And started making more beer, and then we had this kind of pipe dream, like, hey, it'd be fun to really open up like a little small brewery and make beer for some of our friends and family and maybe some customers. That dream blossomed and grew, and Gino really kind of took the reins on that. And because I was working on the show, I couldn't devote the kind of time needed to explore the industry in depth the way that he could. So he went to Chicago and went to the Siebel Institute, which is a phenomenal beer school. And he went to UC Davis in California and took a master brewery class there. Just started really learning like the complexities and the science and the chemistry behind beer. And so when we decided to move to Austin, he was like, well, the scene down there, the brewery scene and the craft beer scene down there is just perfect to start a brewery. So he moved to Austin as well. We bought some land, put up a building, bought some tanks, and then promptly hired someone who knew how to make beer. I wasn't going to put that kind of an investment or that kind of pressure on Gino to come up with all the recipes, and he agreed. He was like, no, we need to. This was us opening up basically a restaurant and hiring a master chef, and so we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to find Nate. Nate came aboard and started making beer right away. We kind of gave him free rein as to make what he wanted. Luckily, he's very talented in making all varieties of and styles of beer, and then it just came down to what we liked and what we felt we could get behind and promote properly. And now we've got more than we need, which is great. The response has been fantastic. Some people here in the audience have actually been to the brewery, and it's a really fun endeavor to be a part of outside of the entertainment industry. Never really pursued anything in a different industry, so this is really fulfilling and enjoying. And I would say my favorite, if I had to pick a beer right now that we make, Oof. It would probably be the pale ale. It was the very first one that we all agreed had to go on the list. And it's still there today, and it still is one of our best sellers. So, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question.
Yeah, I didn't want there to be any question. Okay. Did you want to your honesty? Did you want to come up? Yeah. Am I supposed to leave now? Do I leave now? No! What do I do? I'm not asking you. Oh, I leave. Okay.
They're treating you like you're a puppy or a dog.
Hey, Misha, go. I have one question for you.
Heel.
Still going. You were so much better in your 40s.
Why weren't you reading your fucking monitor that whole time? Everybody backstage was like, it's possible Jensen can't read.
You know why? Because I'm not worried about what I look like. I don't watch the monitor. I'm giving myself to these people.
Jensen, don't stand facing the audience. Those pants clearly show that you have a tiny penis.
Thanks, guys. Bye.